having breakfast with Michael McDowell at the Famous Toastery in Concord, North Carolina. I haven't really been at your new home. I've been at your old home a lot talking with you, but man, what a year it's been for you. I know the playoffs didn't go exactly how you were envisioning, but you got your second career Cup Series win. Now from Daytona to Indianapolis, two of the most iconic racetracks in the entire world. Two iconic trophies too. So I mean, there's got to be a special spot for these trophies, right? Like, you got to admire them from time to time.
Yeah, they actually sit right next to each other when you walk in the front door of my house. There's a little foyer area, and we used to have this like little, I don't know, chest nook thing that would like hold all of your junk. Now it holds my two trophies, so they sit next to each other. But yeah, it's crazy. You know, you were asking earlier before we started this, and like, it's not that you get immune to it because they're big races and they're awesome, and I know that they're awesome, but you know, I walk by them, 100 times a day and don't think anything of it. You know what I mean? But it's it's just a great memory, and just I feel like I've worked really hard to stay in the sport, and to have two of the most iconic trophies in the sport is pretty cool. So yeah, it's neat.
And you've had a spotlight on you all year, not just because of the Daytona win in 2021, not just because of Indy this year, but because you guys have been contenders.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, road course, super speedway, mile and a half, short tracks, you guys have found speed everywhere. Another win, not just a win, a dominant win. So in 2023, how has this team, I don't want to say broke through, because obviously we've seen the progression, but what has made the difference this year for all the speed at all kinds of tracks?
Yeah, I think that, for outsiders or fans, they see this year as a breakout year, but it was really last year. I mean, last year we established ourselves as, a top 10 pretty much every weekend kind of team, but we never had any of those breakout runs like we've had this year where we go and we lead laps and we're like a real player. We just be 7th or 8th or 9th and, in the mix, but nobody's really worried about you. So this year we just took that next step of, taking that top 10 speed and consistency that we had last year and fine-tuning the details and executing a little bit better on every end, and that moved us that little bit that we needed to be, real contenders. And so, when you look at the road courses, and you look at super speedways, and you look at all those places where in years past we've been good, but we haven't been great. Now the tracks that we were good at, we're great at, and the tracks that we weren't so good at, we're pretty good at. And probably, one of the more, I don't know what it would be because it doesn't compare to Indy, but Bristol to me was a really great weekend for us. And, we didn't win, but we were in contention all night long, qualified in the top 5, raced in the top 5 all night, and did it for 500 laps. And that was probably one of the more rewarding races because Bristol is tough, and it's one of those tracks where we probably don't get considered to be much of a short track racer. So we've had runs like that have really helped, I feel like establish ourselves as more consistently in the game.
And so we're going to the Roval this weekend. It's supposed to be North Carolina because the high today is 72 and it's raining this morning. This weekend's supposed to be the last 100-degree weekend over in Phoenix.
Nice.
It's good to be in your part of town now.
Yeah.
When you come to a place like Charlotte, I gotta wonder, what would you take from Phoenix that you wish you could take from your first home and now bring it here to Charlotte instead?
Popo's Mexican food.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. I mean, really, Mexican food is what I'd want to bring. There's a lot of great things about Arizona, growing up in the Valley, but the last few months for you guys is not the great things that I would want to bring with me. But
so no booze here.
November and December are awesome, right? And so the weather in November and December are incredible.
And so you've been coming here for 10 years now to Famous Toastery?
I don't know how long, probably over 10 years. When my oldest son started preschool, there was a Toast, now Famous Toastery, but Toast, it was the same, right across the street from the preschool. And so we would either go before or we drop them off and go after. So it's kind of been our local spot that we've had for a lot of years. And then they've slowly expanded into, different parts of, the Charlotte and South Carolina area. So we've been coming here a long time. I was kidding with my wife, like, we put together this partnership and this PSA, but they're still way ahead because I've spent a lot of money here for a lot of years. So I'm just getting some of it back now, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's been fun. For me, it's always been about if you're going to do partnerships, especially PSA deals, more personal, like you want them to be organic. You want them to be with people that you want to do it with and things that you enjoy doing. Like, I'm just not good at pretending, right? So like, if it's not something I'm into, I just can't do it. But anyone that knows me knows that my favorite meal is breakfast. And this is our breakfast spot, and it has been for a long time.
All right, so what's the go-to here? What's the recommendation?
Man, it's changed so much for me over the years, but I've built my own omelet. The kids always get pancakes and waffles. That's kind of their go-to. But the breakfast burrito and the breakfast quesadilla is really good.
You would be going for the burrito and quesadilla.
Yeah, the quesadilla is actually surprising because I'm like, I'll just get a burrito, but the quesadilla is really good. Yeah.
So build me your omelet real quick. What's the McDowell omelet?
I get the same thing every time. So bacon, sausage, mushroom, and mozzarella. That's it. That's what I had this morning. That's what I had 2 mornings ago. If I want to try to pretend like I'm being healthy, I might throw some avocado in there, but that's about it.
I like the McDriver omelet.
Yeah.
That might be a special.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful to me.
Yeah.
All right, Michael. Well, it's good to be in your part of town.
Yeah,
Looking forward to the Roval this
weekend. It's going to be fun.
Always appreciate your time, and it's good to see you getting all the attention this year with how good you guys are bringing.
I appreciate it. Thanks.